Now that we have the August 15th Kaohsiung by-election results, we see a glaring problem in the DPP support rate from 2018 to 2020. For Chen Chi-Mai to get 671,804 ballots is reasonable by itself because it is slightly less than his 742,239 ballots. However, it doesn't make any sense for Chen Chi-Mai to get that many ballots after Tsai Ing-Wen got 1.09 million on January 11th and for there to be 939,000 ballots cast in favor of recalling Han on June 6. Now, one can argue that the presidential election had simply a higher turnout rate than the mayoral election. However, this is not necessarily true in Kaohsiung because we saw bigger crowds for Chen Chi-Mai for the 2018 mayoral election than we saw for Tsai Ing-Wen in Kaohsiung for the January 11th presidential election. It isn't reasonable for her to get a higher ballot count than him. Also, the June 6th recall and the August 15th by-election should have seen similar numbers for the number of ballots cast for yes to recall Han and for Chen Chi-Mai on August 15th, yet there's a big difference between the two. Chen Chi-Mai got only 671,000 ballots, which is reasonable for him compared to his 2018 results. However, it's far less than the number of ballots that were supposedly cast yes to recall Han on June 6. In my opinion, the number of yes ballots were deliberately inflated to 939,000 in order to be more than HanKuo-Yu's ballot count on November 24, 2018 of 892,000 ballots. The Tsai administration probably didn't want people to say that the number of ballots cast to recall Han were less than the number of ballots that were cast for him as mayor in 2018. However, this created a problem in the by-election for Chen Chi-Mai because it was unlikely that he could get that amount without ballot stuffing. While the results today on August 15th don't necessarily indicate fraud on behalf of Chen Chi-Mai, but they definitely indicate fraud occurred on June 6th. That is, massive amounts of ballot stuffing to recall HanKuo-Yu illegally. If the June 6th recall was in fact illegal, that is election fraud, it casts a shadow over the legality of the August 15th by-election. This by-election was probably illegal to hold in the first place because the June 6th recall was most likely rigged. In fact, the June 6th recall should not have been held at all because the petitions were never made public. It also begs the question, did HanKuo-Yu really only get 610,000 ballots on January 11th? Out of these 7 election results for both sides, 3 out of 7 are seriously in question. Taiwan's 1.09 million ballot count on January 11th is totally in question as there is no indication that she increased the DPP support rate from 2018 to 2020. All indications suggest that Tsai Ing-Wen decreased the DPP support rate all over Taiwan from 2018 to 2020. As I've stated in previous videos, HanKuo-Yu's results on January 11th, 2020 in Kaohsiung are totally unreasonable because all indications suggest that he increased KMT support all over Taiwan. Therefore, he should have more than 892,000 ballots in Kaohsiung, not less. The number of ballots cast to recall Han is probably around 300,000 and not 900,000 as indicated by the Central Election Commission. So this is the state of affairs in Taiwan. We have a totally rigged presidential election at the beginning of the year, and Tsai Ing-Wen is now illegally in office. And we have 2 illegal and unnecessary elections in Kaohsiung in order to change the mayor from HanKuo-Yu to Chen Chi-Mai.